Everyone has their own opinions on what the best character design traits are. What makes a character look absolutely gorgeous? Now, of course, with everything, especially with art, there are specific rules you have to follow when you're making character designs, but there's always going to be a preference when it comes down to traits and things that are more subjective, because ultimately there's just so many things to choose from. Do you like polka dots or not? Do you not like polka dots? Would you prefer stars? That type of stuff. But I don't think that using the polka dot example would be a good example for JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, because these designs are a little bit crazy. For the last few weeks, I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventures from start to finish after like years and years and years of me saying, oh, it's the art style, it's the art style. It was never the art style. It was just people asking me to watch it, making me not want to watch it more. Not just that, I just don't really watch shows often, really at all. So this being in one of my lists to something to watch, something that I have watched ever in existence, is impressive. But to be fair, I might be underestimating myself because I have a higher art consumption expectation because I am an artist, but I know peak. I know peak when I see it, okay? And something I can definitively say about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters is that they all have very specific traits and they're all very unique. That's something you don't really see in a lot of character designs, because look, I can even give you an example. If you were an animator getting paid 2 cents for every fully rendered photo that you create, which one would you rather draw? Character A or character B? Contrary to popular belief, both of these characters are high school students. And if you really just want to tell a story, which is what most animes do, you would just draw the first character, like Mob. I love Mob. And that's what most animes and comics try to do. They try to efficiently tell a story. Efficiently meaning you have to have a simple character to get your comic out by the end of the week. But Araki was built different. Not only was his art style more unique, but his character designs were way more complicated than any other competitor, and that's what made it stand out. Araki's character designs were so complicated that when they moved it to anime, they did have to simplify the characters, and even when they were simplified, they still looked complicated. I say complicated in the most endearing way possible. The designs look so cool, but when you put it in an actual technical sense where you have to pick up the pen and draw it, damn, is this gotta be complicated. So I'm gonna go character by character, talking about my favorite design traits of these characters. Not just that, you'll be able to see me make my own character based off of some inspirations from these characters. And this will be in no particular order, I just want to yap, so let's get on with it, starting with Bruno. Bruno just dripped out the wazoo, and he got a tit window, so what could go wrong with this character? Absolutely nothing. I finished part 5 like 3 days ago. Yes, I watched Stone Ocean in 3 days, but Bruno, his design was always like so nice to see when I saw him on screen. And I know that a lot of it has to do with his dialogue, his character presence, but I'm gonna be real, I loved his design before I loved JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. He was the first character that I looked at and I was like, this is my favorite, and I will be watching this show just so I can get to his part. First thing about his design though is that I really love the headpiece. It really reminds me of Evangelion, and I just had to say that before anything else. I love those headpieces because it's very like reminiscent of Evangelion and other media that have those sort of like headpieces as sort of like robot headpieces. Unlike a lot of other characters that have headpieces like that, though, this one, it looks more like a little bug. It looks like a little bug. Other than that, I feel like the zipper aesthetic on his outfit looks really good, even though they may not be actual zippers on his outfit, which you know is pretty important considering his whole ability is being able to open zippers on any surface and climb through them like portals. I can confidently say that in my opinion, Bruno's design is perfectly unique, and his special traits, somehow even that bob cut made it on the list. Jean-Pierre Polnareff, the actual JoJo of part 3. I swear he was the main character, okay? I don't know how many quote-unquote side plots you have to have as a quote-unquote side character until you become the main character, and Polnareff, all I remember was Polnareff, bro. Now, I wouldn't say that his outfit is crazy, but I do really like those earrings that he has. Why not talk about Jotaro too? I love that big ass chain he's got right there. Big chain for absolutely no reason, by the way, but other than that big ass chain, I love his hair, bro. His hair meshing with his hat, I like that. Speaking of chains though, nobody's gonna beat Abdal's chains. Let's just be for real, okay? I like his chains. I like the little headband he got on. What messed me up though was Abdal's random ass death that happened at the beginning and he just came back later. Like, black people really just can't have anything, man. On to Giorno, Fruitcake Supreme. Another with a tit window. This time it's a heart, so it's even more gay. Love the hair though, it's so giving 80s. And then the ladybugs, bro. I love whenever a character has a specific like insect or animal that's related to their design. I really love that. And then the wings on his collar, the golden wind, you know, wind associated with birds and flying and wings. Holy, we're onto something. Considering you're Dio's offspring, you better serve, and serve he did. We got a whole buffet actually. Giorno was the first character that I took inspiration for my design and my drawing. I wanted to take an 80s sort of hairstyle and then connect my character to an animal. The animal I chose was a peacock. But considering we just talked about Giorno, it's about time we talk about his father, and that is Dio Brando. If I was gonna make a Jojo slut ranking character design video, he would be number 1. I love that in the final battle of part 3, every time he levels up, he just takes off more clothes. And I gotta be real, I really love those pants. Like, it's just pant legs, I know, but like the full body suit and then the pant legs, I like that design a lot. But oh my goodness, when he comes back in the memories in part 6, dude. Why are you looking at me like that, bro? Why are you looking at me like that? I think his vampire charm is working quite actually. Like, at first, I didn't really get the appeal of Dio, but like, when I started looking at Dio through Pucci's eyes, bro, I get you, Pucci. I get you, Pucci. There's enough gayness for the both of us. I know people are gonna come up in my comments like, oh, but Dio's possessing Jonathan Joestar's body, bro. I don't give a shit. Jonathan Joestar does not look like how Dio be looking. But enough about Dio. Let's actually get on to Pucci, the Dio lover. Insane lineup. Like, how did he walk up to the barber with his request? Did he just ask, can you make my shit look like the motherboard? There's no hate in this, bro. It looks cool as shit. I would not get this lineup, but it looks good on him. There's only certain people who can pull it off. But to the main protagonist of this part, Jolene, holy baddie, her whole design from her hair to the whole like webbed sort of outfit, everything about it is perfect. I love it. I love her whole design, all the traits of it. I think that this just goes to show like how Araki has just been progressively perfecting his style, and I think that Jolene is a really good example of this. On to her father, which is Jotaro Kujo, who debatably looks younger than he did when he was 16, except he's now like 40 or 50. He looks good, bro. The green and the purple, I don't know, it works. It works. Even though in this season he was succinctly humbled, resting like a baby in most of the season, his outfit never rested for a day. Again, just like Jolene, I love everything about this design. Believe it or not, there's another Jotaro, which is the part 4 and 5 Jotaro, which got the white outfit. The sleeve cuffs, and especially the more organized belts, that's nice. On to Jotaro's 16-year-old uncle, Josuke Higashikata. He is fighting for number 1 Zest ranking right next to Giorno. Like, hello, he's got the gay-ass haircut and gets mad when people talk about his gay-ass haircut negatively. We know what you are, and so does Okuyasu. But despite the jokes I might make about his hair, I actually really like it, especially that little thing that's sticking out in the back. Talking about hair though, there ain't nothing like my favorite strawberry. Diavolo, my man, my king, you cannot go wrong with this design at all. Whenever I see Diavolo on my screen, I lose my breath. I just need to breathe, bro. Like, goddamn, he pulls off that lingerie like a f***ing queen. That's something I like about a lot of the designs as well, as the fishnet patterns that some of the characters have. Diavolo's twin, Anastasia, or Anasui, has the same thing. Not just that, you could lie to me and say that this was a girl and I would be tricked. I would be tricked. He's such a freaking baddie. It's insane. But more on to the part 6 cast, we got weather forecast or weather report. I think I took the most inspiration from weather report in my design. A little bit of the facial structure, a little bit of the silhouette, but the headpiece is fire. That's all. It's just straight fire. FF, bro. You don't need to know what happened to me when I found out what happened to FF. But besides that, I love the flat hair. I love the flat hair for FF. It looks so good and it's so memorable. You know, I was talking about the fishnet pattern like a second ago. Mista fits that category completely. Even though he's not exactly wearing fishnets, he's got that sort of like pattern. Also, I really like his hat. You don't see many anime characters often with hats that look like that, and I think that it's peak. Now, Joseph Joestar, holy smokes. I like his scarf, but overall, I don't see much specialty in his design. However, I do like this. Now, finally, of course, the character I saved for last, best for last, Rohan Kashibe. Whatever that zigzag shit is on his head, he's doing it right. So right that Araki himself has drawn self-shipping art with Rohan, which, you know, Okay, you do you. Say you're the favorite without saying you're the favorite. But yeah, those are all the JoJo's characters that first came to mind that I really wanted to talk about in this video because I absolutely love some of these traits, a lot of these traits. Now, there's probably more that I have to talk about, especially even some side characters or even some more villains that I want to talk about, but I just simply don't have time right now. So here you go. Here's the character that I ended up drawing, and I hope you like it. If you like videos like this, please like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end.